Hello everyone. So today I'm gonna be talking about quite a controversial topic, I think, and which kind of goes against the whole uh, model that the team is pushing of selling a lot of scrolls at the discounted prices. Yeah, and today I'm gonna be addressing on why you should not be using NAT 5s or NAT 4s in the first months of the game, at least. This does not apply to everyone, and I'm gonna say who can use them. If you are heavily pay to win, or at least have the ability to buy a lot of packs, this video might not apply to you. Um, yeah, I'm thinking of what's the best way to say it. I think I'll just start with the reason, and the reason is skills. Skills give a lot of power in this game. Unlike Summer Source Arena, using monsters without max skills in this game is quite impossible actually. Uh, it's not because they are weak compared to it without it, but it's for this little number. The power number, it is supposed to only show an approximate power of your unit, but it actually plays an important part in the dungeons. And I'm talking about all of the dungeons, not just these, but also it's Kairos, it's Theory, every battle that you can do in the game, except for the auto farming ones, the power number is actually super important. And not having enough of that power will make you lose quite a few runs. So as you can see, for example, I'm farming B14 and moving slowly towards B15. So the boss, for example, has 271,000 power. And as you can see, if your team is a little bit below that power, you get this slightly hard rating. And if I take my Shannon out, for example, if I take your more units out, as you can see, it becomes very hard, and you actually get a penalty where you take 50% more damage and do 50% less damage. Now, if I put my regular team in, as you can see, it becomes my power becomes higher than the enemy power, and you actually get a bonus of 25% more damage and 25% less taken damage. And the reason why you shouldn't be using nat 4s and nat 5s is because you need max skills on your units. This is why nat 5s, nat 5s are naturally super hard to max out. Nat 4s may be a little easier if you summon quite a bit, especially if you go for legendary scrolls or just get a lot of lightning. So you'll be able to max those out a bit faster, but it's still 2 weeks into the game. I believe it will be hard to have a unit, a nat 4 unit that has enough materials to enhance their skills. For example, I have 60 pieces of these, so I could do 6 skills, but for example, this hug needs 3 in here, 6 in here, 6 in here, that's 15 skill ups. If I do not max him fully, he's gonna be quite weak compared to the fully maxed. For example, I'll bring up Konami as an example. First skill is not important, so we can skip that. I'm gonna be comparing level 1 skill to level 7 for both skill 2 and 3, just to see the difference. So yeah, this skill increases, or rather decreases, monster's cooldown and your skill cooldown by a certain amount. So at level 1, you can use this ability every 24 seconds. It does not matter the cooldown on Konami, at least, since you will be using him as a red monster, and the only important cost will be your mana cost. But yeah, at level 1 it decreases by 20%, at level 7 it decreases by 35%. That's a solid 75% increase in the power of the skill. Now we can go. Oh, look at me. The eyeglasses fell. Horrible. 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 There you go. Right. Now for the healing skill. At level 1, it is a 24% cooldown. Again, for Konamiya we can skip it. The only important cost is the mana cost for us. The moves electric shock. That skill retains based whether you have level 1 or level 7 skill, but electric shock is quite a rare effect, so we can ignore it for now. The third part of skill also, since we are not going to be removing electric shock that much, we can ignore it and look only at the max HP healing. At level 1 you are healing for 12.6% of your max HP. At level 7 you are healing for 22, almost 23%. That's also around a 75% increase in healing. And just to put it into perspective, what you could do from one healing here, you would need almost 2 heals at level 1. So the power difference is insane. And that's not even touching the power number aspect of it. Just for comparison, I'm gonna see, I started using my Bastet, but I'm only using her because you can actually get multiple ones from the event. I've gotten 2 already, and this is my 3rd rotation, and I plan on getting around 3 more. So there'll be like 6 extra skill ups, plus I'm gonna do some devil mounts on her to max her out, because I really want to max out the 2nd and 3rd skills on her. So far she only has 1 skill up in the 1st skill and 2 in the 2nd skill, so I got quite lucky for getting 2 in here. And yeah, well, beautiful. I just maxed out my character. Please go away now though. Thank you. Right, the 2nd skill. This is where the cooldown plays a bit more important part, since I am not using her as a mana unit. So as you can see, the 2nd skill, for example, it will apply level 1 attack down with a 55% chance, and it has a 30-second cooldown. Once the skill is maxed, the cooldown goes down by 6 seconds, and that's even higher when you use your Konamiya boost. The chance to apply the attack break, goes up by 20%, so from 55 to 75, and the debuff itself actually doubles in the amount from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. You can imagine how important these skill ups are. So let's say the cooldown is 30 seconds and it applies for 10 seconds only. That means the monsters will be debuffed for about third of the time while she recharges the skill. If you are max level, that is 24-second cooldown with a 20-second debuff length. That means she applies the attack debuff almost for the whole rotation of the skill, and as soon as the attack bar goes down, she is almost ready to use her skill again. That means you can basically have a permanent attack break effect on your enemies. And it's very similar to the 3rd skill. So you get attack up for 10 seconds and that increases to 20, so double. You get 50% of your max HP shield for 7 seconds, goes up to 20, so 50% higher shield and lasts 2 times longer, as well as has a 6-second shorter cooldown. So yeah, the difference is actually huge here. I'm gonna be ignoring ultimates for now. I know that only Nat 5s have ultimates, but I do not like to value ultimates in most of the battles, since all of the dungeons or Kairos runs, the ultimate simply does not have enough time to charge. And I'm gonna be showing another pointer why the skills are super important. It's for the power number I've mentioned earlier. As you can saw, yeah, when I entered the dungeon, I had a, oh, even increased since my summoner got level 60. That number is super important. As you can see, since the boss is fire, your water units will actually get a, I believe it's like a 10 to 15% buff in the power number. And the power number of max skilled units, it goes up by a lot compared to not max skilled units. As you can see, I have my Bastet and my Konamiya at level 70. Konami is of course in the higher awakening level, but just for comparison, I can show you what she would look like at. So at 10 she would be 64,000, and at 15 that would be around 70,000. So just to compare this, my economy currently has almost 76,000 power. I'm gonna put the same runes on my Bastet. So these are economy runes. And she is currently sitting at 62,000. So if I increase to 67, that would be around 72 to 73,000 at 15 stars. So even then, Konamiya, without Bastet having max skills, Konamiya has around 3,000 more power. And just to demonstrate how much power each skill up increases, I actually have a daily devil mon that I was gonna use on her. And I'm gonna show you how much one skill up increases your overall unit power. The power it increases is always the same regardless of which skill gets powered up. And let's do it right now. And there it is. It increased 1,254. So just imagine how much you can increase when you fully max her out. So for example, I got lucky. I increased the shield again. That's 4 power-ups on her. She can still get 2 here. She can get 6, so 8. Another 3, so 11, 12 skill ups. That's 12 times 1.2 thousand. So we're looking at an additional 15,000 power on her with the current runes from Konomiya she has, just by maxing those skills alone. And the last point why building Nat 5s is super hard compared to Nat 3s, and why you should build Nat 3s first until you have all your dungeon teams. So, for example, these 3 units make a great dungeon team for a lot of the dungeons actually, is the awakening cost of these units. The first 5 levels are quite easy. Of course, the Nat 5 costs will be way higher for the first levels. So, just for example, I'll do level 4 on a Nat 5 unit. And the Nat 5 unit costs 40 magic and 30 colored essence. And I'm gonna bring a 3-star unit of some sort. And compared to theirs, it actually costs 10 magic and 5 colored essence. So that is 3 times less breath of lives, is 6 times less of the colored energy, and 4 times less of the magic energy. So the total amount, you can imagine that awakening a Nat 5 once will be equal to the cost of awakening a 3-star unit 3 or 4 times. So the benefits you would get from 3 or 4 awakenings on a Nat 4 unit, or a Nat 3 unit I mean, would outweigh the one you'd get on a Nat 5. And once you reach higher levels, so starting at level 10, and then I believe it is 12 and 14 or 15, I don't quite remember. Maybe we can check here. So yeah, starting at 12 and 13 does not need it. Yeah, 14 and 15. So yeah, 12, 14, 15, and the 10th level actually require 20 of these pieces. So each dupe gives you 20 pieces actually, so you could awaken it by getting a dupe, but the chance of you getting enough dupes to fully max out a unit skill, and then on top of that get like, let me count, so that was 20 pieces, 20 at level 12, 20 at 14, and 40. So in total you will also need 100 monster pieces of that unit. So just to put it into perspective, you will need to summon 5 additional Bastets before you can fully max her out. And you can see for Konamiya, I had no trouble maxing her out. She's a 3-star unit. I only mostly needed a decent amount of essences and breath of lives, but the monster pieces I've had were definitely not a problem there. And I'll pick a Garuda just to see how many pieces we still have. Yeah, you can see you still have 84 Garuda pieces, 23 water ones, 60 here. So I could probably max another Garuda just with those pieces that I have. And yeah, these are the main points on why you should not build your Nat 4 and Nat 5 yet. If you are able to fully max out a Nat 4's or Nat 5 skills, as well as get 100 additional pieces for that unit, then I would say it is worth building a Nat 4 or Nat 5 unit. If you are not able to do that, I would recommend going for Nat 3 units, since a lot of them are really great still. For example, Konamiya is a top tier unit even with Nat 5s around, and I've made a video previously on why. Shannon is another great unit. I use Bastet as a replacement for her, but mostly because the dungeon I'm focusing is of fire elements, so Shannon is not quite good there, and she loses a little bit of power. For an attacker, Fire Fairy that you get from a quest, I believe, is also amazing. I fully maxed her skills, I fully evolved her, and I'm working on awakening her as soon as I get my Fairy pieces. And yeah, you can do a lot with 3-star units, I'd say, in this game. I've done quite a few dungeons with, for example, the subjugation. This one, I just dropped the Konamiya, Shannon, and a random 3-star unit from Water Wind Element, I believe. And I just did level 10 with no problem. These paths of training is also quite easy if you can find the correct elements. For example, if you use Konamiya and Shannon, you should probably focus on the water element and try to bring another wind unit into it. But yeah, just wanted to make this video on why you shouldn't max your Nat 4s and Nat 5s, and if you really want to do it, when you should do it. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll give you more guides in the future. Peace.